Hi Gertie. I hate starting off these videos because I'm really rubbish. I feel like she go, "Hi Gertie, hi." It would sound really boring. Don't mean to. What was I going to say? The blog. I've just written a blog. Called I changed my mind. It's because I watched This Morning with Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield, and they were interviewing a lady who was an alcoholic, and she was very open and honest and saying how she caused problems being an alcoholic with her son, and she's managed to turn her life around, which is obviously fantastic. But she came out with this one phrase, and Phil asked her how she managed to turn her life around, and she said, "I suppose I just changed my mind." And you know when somebody says something and you think, "Whoa, that's a really, really simple phrase," but it just made me think a lot. As in, like, just imagine like when things are crappy, when you're telling yourself you can't do something, or you're convincing yourself that you're not good enough, or all of those, anything like that. That you actually sort of suddenly thought, "Do you know what? I don't want to think like this," and you change your mind. You decide not to think like that. You decide not to tell yourself that you're rubbish. You decide not to tell yourself that you're not pretty enough, clever enough. I don't know. The list goes on, obviously. But what if you did? You just changed your mind. And I thought it was really quite empowering. It was sort of like, but you can do that. If you want to, you can just suddenly decide, "I don't want to think like this," which then sort of opens up your mind to think, alright, well, what do I want to think like, or how do I want to be? Hoping this makes sense. It just really made me think, and because I've been doing quite a lot of reading and work on my self-worth, um, I hadn't realised just how low I'd been feeling, and how my self-worth had clearly gone on holiday without me, and self-confidence, but self-worth more than anything. I've been reading Louise Hay stuff, and book by Nancy Levin, two books by Nancy Levin, one called Worthy and one, I think it's called Jump and Your Life Will Appear or something like that. Brilliant books, really good books, because it really made me think and made me look at me. I suppose being at home, I've had lots of time to think about me, and I think as women we always feel like we're being selfish if we think about ourselves. We're always supposed to put everybody else first. We're always supposed to consider everybody else's need. And if we don't, then we're really always made to feel guilty, and quite often by other women, which is really stupid when you think about it. It doesn't mean you have to be self-centered. I think there's a difference, self-centered, selfish. I think you need to feel good about yourself before you can think of somebody else. And I do think you need to think about what you want, and um, about how you act around other people, because if you feel crap, if you don't love yourself, if you don't feel good enough, then and you start putting other people first, you get resentful, and you're not coming from a loving place apart from anything else. You're coming from a place of resentment and anger, aren't you, really? So you're giving, but it's begrudgingly, and I don't think it's a good way to be. And I think this is where you sort of have to pull back and think, hang on, now what do I need? How do I want this to play out? And have your boundaries in place, and think, no, this is what I want, and yes, you can have whatever you want, but I don't have to take responsibility for you and your life. And I think I have to say I'm a bugger for doing that, for feeling like I have to take responsibility for everybody and everything. I I'm not sure why or where it came from, but I just always have. It's also almost out of a sense of guilt, and it's changing. It's slowly changing. I've been doing some mirror work, which Louise Hay recommends, where you stand or sit in front of a mirror and say "I love you" to yourself. You look in your own eyes and say "I love you," and no, I haven't lost the plot completely, but I know, like, you guys tell me you love me, and obviously Dave tells me he loves me, but I haven't necessarily had it from other people or friends or family even, and to where I feel like I've encouraged you and been your cheerleaders as and when you've needed it. Um, I've never felt I've had that. I've always felt like I've got to do it. I'm the one that's got to do it. I'm the one that's got to be strong, and I'm the one that's got to show everybody I can do it. And I'm rubbish at letting people say to me, come on, we're here, we're by your side, and you can do this. Again, I think that's something else that needs to change. And I've lost the plot of what I wanted to say. Good old chemo. I lose chemo brain, or just age, or just generally losing the plot. But I suppose the main point is, you need to think about your self-worth and how much you look after yourself and take care of yourself. You don't have to be self-centered, and it's okay to be a bit selfish and put yourself first and your needs first, and more importantly, have your boundaries in place so that when somebody says anything to you or expects something from you, you think, no, that's not what I want. That's not who I am. Instead of just going along with things all the time, which I think we're terrible for doing sometimes. But anyway, this is quite a long video. I'm waffling. Think about your self-worth, and remember that whenever things are crappy, whenever you're telling yourself, you're listening to the voices in your head saying, you're rubbish at that, don't even bother, don't go there, don't even try it. When they're going off on one in your head, just step out of it and just think, actually, what do I want? Because all they're doing is trying to protect you. They're trying to stop you from making yourself look silly or from making mistakes, which at the end of the day we all do. You have to make mistakes to grow. You have to do stupid things and make a fool of yourself sometimes to get on in the world, and it's alright. You survive it, and to be honest, the more you do it, I think the easier it'll become. So this is what I'm working on for myself at the minute. I'm trying to build up my self-worth, my self-confidence again, because, like I say, I think they've both gone on holiday without me. And I'm getting out more, and the more I'm doing, the more my confidence is growing, and I do stand in front of the mirror and talk to myself in the mornings and say how wonderful and amazing I am. And I have to say, it started to make a difference. I didn't think it would. I thought it was a bit of baloney. But it is starting to make a difference. And it's made me feel better about myself. I'm not 100% perfect yet, and everything's not sorted. But if nothing else, it gives me the energy, because it's so easy, I think, to get up in the morning and just think, oh, I feel lazy, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to go anywhere, oh, I'm just going to sit here. And I could so easily do that some days, but I don't want to. That to me is like wasting my life away. And so having a word with myself in the morning, and the dog looks at me like I've gone out, thinking I'm crazy lady. But if nothing else, it gives me a boost. It always makes me feel, come on, you can do it. And I'm not always totally upbeat, I know that, but it's slowly working, and I figure it's got to be worth a try. So I'm going to shut up now, because this is quite a long video and I waffle quite a lot. I hope all that makes sense. Just love yourself, Gertie. Think about your self-worth and get your boundaries in place. And what was the other one? I can't remember. Oh man. No, completely gone. But hopefully the message is there. Love you, that Skirty.